What up, everybody? Blake Scholar of Magic here, and I'm going to be giving you a deck building tutorial today, and it would be for Snapdax Apex of the Hunt. This is a 4-color commander, has a 1 generic mana symbol, which is the one that is just with the number 1, a single red, a single plains, and a single swamp to cast this card. So for a cast, you get a legendary creature, Dinosaur Cat Nightmare, with 3/5 stats. It has a mutate ability, which we'll talk about. It also has double strike. So for the forecast, you get a 3/5 double striker on face value. Okay, so maybe not the best. But let's think about the mutate and kind of get into what mutate actually means. So this has an additional step up in generic mana cost, so 5 mana total, can be played with a hybrid of black or red or 2 plains. By meeting that criteria, what you can do is, we can read it here from the side. Mutate. If you cast a spell for its mutate cost, put it under or over target non-human creature you own. They mutate into the creature on top plus all the abilities from under it. Very well. So this pertains in the fact that, let's just think of what we know about cards. The creature itself would be termed like that legendary creature, Dinosaur Cat Nightmare. The name itself would also apply to this. In addition, the 3/5 stats would apply to that. Now, the abilities are melded. The abilities essentially are explained as the text box itself. So where it starts with mutate to gain 4 life, that entire text box will mutate, will be retained with whatever other creature that is mutated, whether you put it that creature on top or below it. So that's a very interesting part about, is that text box would, basically in some circumstances, like doubles in size in terms of virtual size, right? Because you're basically adding a whole new set of text box to another card, which is really interesting. Now you can think of mutate kind of like as like attributing, like, and growing as like an ultimate kind of go tall rather than go wide strategy, because you are basically putting a lot of emphasis on that one creature and basically using that one target and putting a ton of value on it. So in mutate, it is true that like your things you can get 2 for 1 pretty easily, because you could be mutated onto something, someone can play like go for the throat, and all of a sudden you lost 2 cards to their 1, and that kind of hurts. But the value of the mutate is supposed to offset that, right? This one offers a really nice emphasis on the double strike. So if we can double strike onto, say, for instance, like an Elder Dragon, then we'll be very happy. So let's start with that. Let's start with our Elder Dragons here. And what we'll do is we'll just type in Elder, just like so. And you'll recognize these cards just like, as you play Magic the Gathering. There's some pretty phenomenal like Elder Dragons in general. In these colors in particular, the ones that actually do damage have some really, really strong triggers. And these are paper legal, so you can find these particular Elder Dragons in the Baldur's Gate set. When this dragon, for instance, connects, you get to roll a d20 dice, and then you create a number of blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to the result, and those are 1/1s. So that's pretty massive for us. You can see if we connect twice by, for instance, mutating the Snapdax on top or below, probably in this circumstance, to keep that 7/10 stats, then you all of a sudden you have that 7/10 double striker. And if we're open and we can get in for the combat, you're going to be triggering this twice, which is a lot of value. So that's kind of the appeal of that, especially, in this particular format, you have to play by your commander's colors. So we get access to the white, black, and red Ancient Copper Dragon. In addition, whenever Snapdax mutates or gets mutated on top of or below, he'll deal 4 damage to a target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. So a nice little swing of damage and to a creature and some life gain is pretty sweet. So let's pick up these Ancient Dragons. That'll be step 1. What you need to know is this thing resurrects things from the graveyard, And this thing makes lots of treasures when it connects, so that's pretty cool. I also do like Shadrick's Silver Coil for this deck because he has double strike already. And if we do have a double striker in the command zone, we do have a very fond love for the swords, because swords love combat damage too. So the 3 mana swords are very nice. So we can kind of just take a look at some of the ones we got here. And probably all of them are kind of on the table. They all provide value in some instance. So for the ones we have access to in this is the Sword of Fire and Ice, which is just a nice protection one. We're going to get protection from red and blue with this when we're like attach it to like our Snapdax or our mutated creature that has Snapdax already mutated onto it. Of course, the double strike will be good because each instance of combat damage, you'll get 2 damage to any target, and then you draw a card. So it's some pretty phenomenal value. The protection is nice. You're just getting in against your red and blue opponents like all day on this. Additionally, the sword Forging Frontier is a very nice one as well. And yeah, this one is also going to provide protection from red, also green for this one's instance. And then each time you do combat damage, you get to exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play an additional land in turn for each instance of combat damage. So if we slap in with a double striker, we played our land for a turn, we can play 2 additional lands that turn, and then get some looks at some more cards. It's really, really phenomenal card. And how about the Sword of Once and Future? This is going to love. This one will definitely build a graveyard, which we do like to do. And then if we put some nice instants and sorcerers with mana value 2 or less, we can actually cast those without paying its mana cost. So that is also a sweet one too. I think we'll play all 3. So this is kind of our double strike suite over here. I think we can play dragons in general, just like kind of a dragon kind of theme. So, I mean, we already have these 4 here. So, I mean, we can probably just keep going. And there is a nice one at the 3 spot as well. It's the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so there's our Phyrexian Dragon Engine. In addition, this is also a nice double striker. So it's just going to love everything we're going to do with this deck, because we're going to definitely be building the graveyard, and I'll want to resurrect some dragons as well while we're doing this kind of stuff. Having just this nice little value orientated dragon that can get us some cards if we need it, build our graveyard if we need it, or hit in with a sword seems very good. And let's see if there's anything that pops up. We do love Sarkhan too if we're going to play dragons, just because it's a nice ramp, kind of kind of nice for ramping in our colors. We can also build a graveyard with it too, so it has like a nice, interesting kind of synergy with our commander in black in general. It almost feels like it should be like a black-red planeswalker, because it lets you kind of do that loot effect, and then you can also add 2 mana of any combination of colors to cast dragons. I do like the Swashbuckler Extraordinaire. He is kind of a non-combo with our Sword of Forging Frontier and Sword of Fire and Ice, but if we just have an ancient copper dragon or gold dragon or brass dragon, this is going to be a phenomenal dragon. It loves treasures too, and we'll probably make an abundance of treasures, because we'll just be kind of doing that kind of stuff. Atsushi is probably decent enough. It's a 4/4 trampler, so kind of just gets in, doesn't it? And if it dies, we can get cards, we can make treasures. I wonder if Decadent Dragon is like pretty interesting too. It's just kind of like a value lord, right? Yeah, it's basically like a draw 2, and then you get this 4/4 flying trampler on the other side. It's a pretty sick card, actually. I think it's pretty cool. Regent, yeah, that can draw some cards. We're not playing too many multicolored cards. Is it cast? Cast. That's actually like a draw 3 with Snapdax on the battlefield. So actually that's probably not the worst for us. It really isn't. The Regent showing up pretty big time. We'll play all these. Yeah, these are all good. Yeah, we're pretty happy with all these very chunky dragons. Goldspan definitely gets in there. I like the Glory Bringer for a little removal. Scourge of Valkis, we probably should just queue it up to kind of get ready for like a dragon themed kind of deck, because it just loves to see dragons in general. Terror of the Peak seems good. How about there and back again? Not really. Definitely in a Rain Tempest deck. I like that one. Twin Flame Tyrant. This like makes our dragons just so strong. You know. Yeah, this like. If we put this even on like a Snapdax, we can start getting real busy too with damage because of the double strike. Wrathful Red Dragon. We might play some other mutators, so I do kind of want to try it out though for this particular deck, and maybe play some like interesting like red removal because we're playing the swords, these protection from red spells. It's getting pretty heavy on the 5 spot, you know. Lathless, I guess we're playing Lathless because we're pretty dragon heavy with the Capricious Hellraiser. Yeah, I think we'll be building the graveyard. We might just be like a Hellraiser deck. There's so many good dragons, guys. Can't really do wrong. Love the Balefire Dragon for combat damage. This is actually like definitely like kind of slots into this this like double striking suite, which we just really love, and it'll help us make cuts later, like because we have like a core deck here, like we have a core idea. You know, these double striking dragons, like Ancient Balefire Dragon will get in, deal the combat damage equal to its power to the opponent's creatures, and then with the double strike will get in again and do the same thing over. So definitely effective in like kind of taking everything out at once. We can just like kind of slot in the Dracuseth, you know, ahead of time, you know. Just now, this Shivan Devastator is exceptional with Snapdax. It's probably like one of the better cards because you just put counters on this thing, and the counters retain if Snapdax, you know, mutates over it, and it retains flying. So then you just have a, you know, if this was a 3/3 before, then all of a sudden you have like a 6/8 double striker in the air, which is really nasty. I didn't really like Riva in my first kind of like, you know, testing of this deck. It was just like kind of a little slow, to be honest. But God, it looks solid though, doesn't it? Like, but you really should have dragons in your hand, and we might need like a lot of other kind of supporting cast members for this particular one. Mr. Predator is always a pretty cool card, isn't it? And that with Snapdax is like kind of really mean, isn't it? Just like this thing that kind of grows in the air and you can get value from it. Protects the mutate. I kind of love that idea. So like our core ideas, let's just kind of put these to the left here. And we definitely love the Moon region actually makes a lot of sense because of the just drawing basically 3 cards with the Snapdax cast is pretty cool. You know, that Swashbuckler Extraordinaire might be okay. This Fire Action Dragon Engine just kind of makes sense with these swords. And some of the dragons that just kind of make sense so far, like if we're going to play Atsushi in Goldspan, this Decadent Dragon looks good. The Swashbuckler looks better now if we're going to go with Treasures. I like Shadrick because of the double striking. Bony-haired Dracosaur makes Treasures. Dragonhawk just gets gasoline. Glorybringer can remove. Terror Peaks removes. This just smashes stuff. Wrathful Red Dragon could be like a decent card, but like it needs to be in a particular kind of deck. So let's see here. Let's see if we can get this guy going. This should be fine with like all our swords too, because it will still take the damage. It just won't be hurt. Yeah, if we can kind of like protect our stuff to a degree. Yeah, we might like the like red removal suites, for instance, like just like, you know, Brotherhood's End. Excuse me. Okay, so there's like a nice little sweeper there. So our kind of our kind of synergy here is to have a dragon that when our other dragons take damage, they will deal that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. So if we had like 2 other dragons on the battlefield and we'd played a Brother's Head's End, not only would we be doing damage to their things, but then based on the amount of damage we did to our dragons, for instance, the 3 damage, this dragon would see that, and then we'd be able to go to the opponent's face with some damage, like 3 damage for each instance, or to their creatures, and etc. It's any target, correct? To any target. That's very cool verbiage. Yeah. So we do love that. Burn down the house also does this. In addition, Spiteful Banditry also does this as well. Is there any ones that like kind of stand out to me that are any good? Damage each, I suppose, is what you could type. Johnny is in these colors. That's interesting. Kumano faces Kakazan. Sinterclasm, yeah, that's kind of a littler one. Oops. Conductive Current, yeah, that's probably a pretty good one. Anger of the Gods. Yeah, it kind of fits to a degree, doesn't it? So let's do that. Seems like that's a good start. And now we have these. So we're doing pretty well. I'd say just like collectively we could probably get like, 20 more cards in. So I don't know if we're running enough dragons for the Scourge. I mean, I love this for like a Dragon Broodmother deck. It does go freaking hard, doesn't it, though? It does go pretty hard. The triple red is kind of frightened me somewhat here, but you know what this card goes really well with is the Ancient Blue Gold Dragon. It makes all those blue fairy tokens, and it would see all those and basically OTK like a table, because those dragons would see each other, and that would be a lot of freaking damage at once, wouldn't it? Probably like 20 damage for each instance of dragons. Let me know if you guys know about that rule, like having like, for instance, like 15 fairy dragons like enter the battlefield at once. They probably all see each other at once, I'd assume. Rather of like each instance, like, I see 1, then I see 2, then I see 3. And if that's the case, they do like 15 damage at once. If it just saw themselves at once. Lathless, I guess, yeah. Playing like a lot of known token dragons so far. Okay, the spell costs 3 or less to cast if you have 9 or more cards in your graveyard. Yeah, I think we're going to be building the graveyard, so that'll be our next step. Alright, so now we have to build the graveyard. And so we do like cards like the Shivan Devastator that accrue with counters. So we want like cards that say counter and discard. That's going to be like our bread and butter, because red really does this very well, and we'll see this in a second. So for instance, like an NT is like really good, because you're just getting those attacks and then you're discarding, and then you're building your graveyard, which black loves to see that for like the resurrection spells that we're gonna have to cheat on our curve to like keep up, especially with like the blue decks. We're gonna have to do some really powerful things. So yeah, this is gonna be like our first step, like of making like a strong creature that accrues counters and discards. We can get value from it. Additionally, Ivora also does this very well, and each time, and also it works very well with double strike, because it has trample. So we put the Snapdax on top of the Ivora, and then all of a sudden, like, we have this double striker that's growing and has trample, and that is like, that's the juice. This is the juice right here, is Ivora and Snapdax. That is your big moment right there, your big interaction. And you're going to be accruing those blood tokens. You're going to be able to build a grave very voluntarily. It's just going to be very nice. I think Abraxas Tunnel Grinder should be fine too. Ox of Agonis is good for a discard deck. So we got a couple counter discards there. Let's just see discard in general. We're going to get like Faithless Looting, of course. This is just like kind of fits in very nicely. Gamble's just a good tutor. So we can kind of just pick these up. We probably have about 10 cards left, so we can kind of count them down. You know, make sure we're kind of taking our time. And, you know, we can probably be happy with, you know, whatever we pick up right now, because the deck is kind of showing itself a little bit. I'd say we get about like 6 more cards in relation to this. I think like a Ripples Undeath, so like maybe 3 more red cards that kind of like will work to our graveyard. I think Fear of Missing Out kind of makes that kind of cut, because you can get extra combat steps, and we love extra combat with our Ancient Dragons. Picked up Inti already. I have Ivora. Scrapbook Muck is pretty cool. Volta Wonderglyph is pretty cool too. Bergie. Fable? Yeah, Fable is like a staple. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. There we go. Oh, of course we have to pick up some mutates too. So I'll just do that in a moment too. I think we can still do this. We definitely want some mutates. Okay, let's go mill. Stitcher Supplier is pretty good. Ripples of Undeath is very, very good. How about the Butler? Kind of like a one-shotter. Timorette. This thing, if you really just want to go graveyard crazy, that's this is the card for you, y'all. This thing was a menace in standard, right? Just the people playing like Timorette and Timorette Calls the Dead, and it was like a fun time to start playing Magic. Like, why am I losing to this thing that has like this copper head? What is it? What is that thing? It's got like, you know, is it a monument? What is this thing? It's crazy. Crazy card. The Angel of Suffering. This is apparently like the the way. Oh, you know what? This kind of makes sense to be like a Kalia deck too, because of the Mardu colors. So we'll come back to that. We'll probably include this one if we're going to go that route. I wish I had that card. I don't think I have it. But it is legal in Brawl. Kalia of the Vast. Let's slot her in and check out Kalia real quick. So there's Kalia the Vast, and she's just got a stick, and then you just got to swing and have an angel, demon, or dragon in your hand, and it's just tapped and attacking. It's wonderful. It's great. This one's good too. Yeah. Really good for just getting some gasoline, you know. Especially if you're playing like lots of angels, demons, or dragons. Kind of can get busy with that card, can't you? You know, if you had a build around for a commander deck, Ephemerate comes to mind, Felia comes to mind, just getting massive value. Milling is just basically removing cards from your library and putting in the graveyard. So if this says mill 3 cards, you know, when it on stage 1, you're going to put 3 cards from your library into your graveyard. Sir Conrad loves to see creatures go into the graveyard too. Not a dragon though. This angel's not really a dragon either, but I think I will play like a cost reducer too. Ooh, Overlord, that's a fantastic mill card. It's just a 4-banger to start, then it becomes like a creature. That seems really nice for us. That thing is like easy money. Takanuma's good. I think Breach fits us too. It's very nice, very nice. Very nice cards here, guys. Very beautiful. Got a lot of support for our, discard here, milling. Is there anything that really kind of make us really pop in terms of discarding? Let's see. Butler is not terrible. Mesmeric Orb. I mean, I guess. You could do these. You could do both of these, Mesmeric Orb and Palantir. Probably be pretty happy about that. Oh, Swordian, of course. Yeah. And then, mutate should be fine. Yeah, and we can just pick up all these ones. They seem mostly good. I think you have to have like a pretty decent amount of mutates in your deck, to kind of make Snapdax worth it. I think that just on face value, like the Sacrifice mutate, this one is very good. I like that one a lot. Cavern Whisperer is pretty decent. It's just like an in-between. The Hemophage is probably decent just because it has a low mutate, and if Snapdax mutates onto it, you'll start clearing out creatures because it has Death Touch, and Snapdax will do lethal damage with the 4 damage it deals to any creature that doesn't have an indestructible. So that's a nice one. Don't think we're running Dracuseth. I don't think we have enough ways to get haste to our dragons, and Dracuseth would really want kind of like that haste enabler. Like, it just kind of sad if it just sits there. In fact, there will be some haste. We should probably add some haste to a degree. Dirge, if I was running like a lot of mutates, I think it would be much better, to be honest. Start from back over here. Okay, Regal Leosaur is decent because it's a low caster creature and you need to mutate onto stuff, right? So kind of gives you an opportunity. These 2 mana creatures that have, that can mutate on and have like abilities and a low mutate cost in general, they're kind of like A+ mutates. So like, think of this: cheap casting costs and relatively cheap mutate. You want to have as many as possible. This one is a lower mutate card in terms of casting cost. I mean, it's not the worst. The mutate is pretty powerful. It would require you to like return a 3-powered creature though. So I don't know if we're going to be running as much, but our graveyard will be juicy, so we can give the Necropanther a shot. It should probably have a say. So here's our mutates over here. Cloud Piercer probably just barely gets in because the casting cost is high in general. The mutate's just kind of relatively high, but it does loot. So in terms of that, it draws and discards. So it definitely kind of makes the sense to be included. Porcuparrot is also just like kind of a wombo bombo combo with any Death Toucher. So we will be including an additional another Death Toucher that I feel is very good, the Unstoppable Slasher. That's just kind of nice tech for the Snapdax, because this thing just loves mutates in general, the Porcuparrot, and the mutate cost is nice and low. The 3 is low. This one's like in the middle of the road, and we're not going to really have too many Phoenixes. I don't think like we're really going to have much of a Phoenix at all. I think the new dragon from Bloomborough is like has a bird type, but it's not a Phoenix. No. A Phoenix dragon would be a cool creature type, so we'll probably skip on the Evercool Phoenix. This one, the mutate cost is just dreadfully high. And the casting cost isn't really that cheap either, to be honest. Yeah, same with this. I mean, the mutate cost is good, so for both of these. So I think they kind of make it. And the Cub Warden just has sufficiently strong mutate where it makes bodies, so we don't hate it. Then just, let's see, the Slasher is just very good. I'm at 41 lands already, because I did add the attack of Numa, so we still can probably go to 39 and be happy. 38 to 40 is probably your best bet. And then like a Ragavan is good with combat damage, of course. The Venerated Warlord is also a staple for Snapdax. There's Warlord. Let's see, combat. Boros colors. There it is, the Venerable Warsinger. Yeah, this one's a nice one. It just kind of gets the value from the graveyard, just kind of returns the... Ooh, Aurelia is pretty good stuff too, isn't it? With Inti, this will be good because it would grow, right? I don't know if there's any other ways for me to, get at things. This is going to do, if it's double striked, it'll do 3, return 3 costed creature, then do 3, get another 3 costed creature back. It does look, we do have a pretty good backbone. It doesn't look terrible. Then again, there's so many 5 costed cards. 2. I did want to run it, but I did want to kind of illustrate it. I think it is pretty cool, but I don't know if we're gonna kind of run that card. There's the Ragavan, and see if we can. The Mooning of the Mighty. I think it's probably pretty sick. Minion of the Mighty probably goes in any dragon deck. I've never really been sad about it, to be honest, guys. I think our creatures are pretty buff. I think they're going to be pretty happy about the minion just summoning things into the... And then we just add a 1 ring and probably a Sword of Prowlers. We're not protecting our commander at all. They'll have to figure it out. Oh my god, an Esper Sentinel, that's really good too. Let's get some cards. Yeah, we'll go down to 39. Oh my god, a Chrome Mox. Yes, please. Oh yeah, we'll take some of that action. The thing is, I don't even have this card in real life, so I guess that's just a Soul Ring when we cross this over. And a Swords. Yeah, so I think we went to 38 lands. It kind of makes sense. There's a lot of good cards. And then, so basically this is kind of the deck that we kind of put together. Just kind of put the card advantage over here to an extent. And obviously the graveyard gets kind of card advantage for us too, because we get so much value out of it. And then again, there will be cuts here because there is also just some other things that we are doing that we need to kind of address. So reanimate, for instance. I don't know why this card is showing up still. I have no idea. Wizards, come on. Reanimate. There we go. Victimize. There's also Persist too, which is a banger. But I don't have it. Virtue of Persistence, that's a cool card. Sure, we'll get that one. That's a swell card. There's Persist. That's just a Wombo Bombo card for us. You know? Yeah, that's a good one. Also, Coiling Rebirth is really strong. No, I don't need to craft it. See, and we might even want like another resurrection spell of some sort. I think like the next one is like a 4. Ooh, Malika Rebirth is pretty good. Altar of the Ball. Valgaboss Faithful might be kind of sick. The Slasher. Yeah, this kind of happens sometimes where, you know, you're adding the ideas in and they kind of get kind of conflated here. Let's just put our kind of removal over here and actually, let's see. Cards here. That can go with like the graveyard stuff. So here's some graveyard stuff. Valgaboss Faithful. Breach kind of fits into that mold as well, doesn't it? This is all like graveyard stuff. So sure, why not do it like this? Victimize gets in there. Graveyard. Beautiful, beautiful. So I think like these card advantage things have to kind of stick. The graveyard has to stick. The mutate is pretty important. We can probably trim one of these kind of removal spells. I suppose it's just the Anger of the Gods because Brotherhood's in it can hit artifacts too. I don't know if we're running enough dragons for Lathless, but it seems like we kind of are. These are all dragons, right? How does this sword look? We have like a lot of instant or sorceries with 2 or less mana. Not too bad. Is it instants or sorceries only? Yeah, we might not want that. Some more graveyard stuff. Doing some treasure things. We're doing a couple treasure. This is kind of card advantage too, this dragon. Shattering Silver Quill, I think, kind of fits that mold too of getting cards. Same thing with Dragonhawk and Bone Horde. Dracusaur. Sushi can be that good utility card. Definitely having enough dragons here. Pretty happy with all the dragons. I am looking at this card. Another non-token 5/5. It's a big 6/6 for 6. Big 6/6 for 6, huh? Let's get the mocks and swords kind of, not swords, Malika Rebirth. Yeah, I think we like the Minion of the Mighty. Predator's pretty cool for our guy. Can play like a lot of unconventional dragons. I don't know if we want the Lathless. I think all these are cool. It makes sense. Down to 106. Or any of the like kind of graveyard cards. I mean, Citrus Supplier is okay. I don't know if we'll have to add like a Phyrexian tower for it to maybe sacrifice it to get some more value out of it. Get a little rampage. I think we need kind of all this, huh? I need 4 cuts. Need like Agadim. I think we need another like return kind of spell here. Yeah, this probably isn't it. Zombify. Oh, Grease Fang. I mean, if you're gonna play like Resurrection, it's gotta be Valgavoth too, right? The Valgavoth. Oops. So this kind of like happened, maybe kind of happens when you kind of build the decks, is that you have like a card that kind of pulls towards something. Like for instance, in these colors, you have like these very strong dragons, and they kind of want you to like, you know, get into your graveyard and such, and mutate on this stuff. Come over here to like these dragons here. Also the Scourge of Alcus. I just don't know if I'm running enough enough of these homies for it to be like really exceptional. I would be so much more comfortable like for the possibility of like a Blade of Selves to be in this format, or a Dragon Broodmother. I'd be very happy with the Scourge then. So we'll definitely keep that on the back burner. This is definitely a card that will go into my paper deck tech, I think, just because of the instance of the Blade of Selves. It's just like a wombo bombo combo, because it will just myriad this thing, and it'll get a lot of damage, right? Because it'll see all those dragons entering at once and like kind of stacking that damage. So yeah, I think this is kind of this seems like this idea of like, you know, wipes and stuff. They just don't really fit like the concept of what we're doing. Not for this particular incident, I don't think. And I am pretty happy now. We're getting really close now. For like the treasure package, like the Swashbuckler Extraordinaire seems good, but I think we have it in the command zone, so we're good. We have the double strike in the command zone, so we'll be fine. And then I kind of just like all these choices. Minion of the Mighty, I do love it for like the green decks. I wish if we had like a commander that attacks sooner, maybe I'd like it a little bit more. So that's not too hard of a cut to make, to be honest. And now we're kind of like almost there. We're very, very close. Oh wow, this is actually mutated. It's not in the mutate zone. This is like just like crazy reanimate card, you know, stuff. It's a little more removal too. The Virtue's kind of cool, isn't it? Breach is a massive like graveyard bomb. I guess you just play all these. Let me check to see if there's any lands amongst these, just to make sure that I'm not like, you know, counting wrong or anything. Ah, here we go. Okay, that's 40. Basically 43 with a chrome mox. So I guess we're good. Yeah, I think we're more than good. I think we can just start putting lands in and then cut 2 lands. I think I'm pretty stoked. So what I like to do when I look for lands, I probably want to get the ones that are just the best. So a command tower, for instance, just by typing in command. If you don't have it crafted yet, it's just common. Add 1 mana of any color, your color, a commander's color identity. There you go. That will be a perfect tapping land for us. Also, Mana Confluence is a rare, but it is a similar fashion where it pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Beautiful. So now we're good. Prismatic Vista is also decent because it's just like, I'll pay 1 life, get any basic you want, and there's no tapping involved. Fabled Passage could be pretty decent for us because we're, you know, building the graveyard. The Oxogonis would like it. So that's pretty cool. So there's a Fabled Passage. Nope. You know, the only requisite for this is if you have 3 more lands on the battlefield for that land to become untapped. So that's a nice selection. Don't hate it. Then from here, we get the channel lands because they're just exceptional. Channel, press this. You get the Ganjo, you get the Silkenzon. They could be played as just lands for, they'll just come in untapped, or they have these ability, they're just free real estate. To a similar extent, like Amaria's Call is kind of like free real estate too. You know, you do have to pay life if you do want it to come in untapped, but it's just pretty exceptional, right? Also, we got Agadim already, and Shatter Skull Smashing is also beautiful. Definitely can come in handy. You can remove some of your opponent's things or have this played as a land. It's beautiful. All right. And then it's been kind of easy. I mean, you want your 3-color land. I definitely would highly recommend a 3-colored land, such as like a Savia Triumph for this. You're definitely going to want to have that. Definitely comes in handy. Turns on all your Verge lands too, basically. Speaking of Verge, we'll get to those. Let's do some pay life lands. And Witch Enchanter is alright. Fell the Profane, on the hand, that's fantastic. Hagra Mauling is something you want as well. So we'll be picking that up. Pinnacle Monk's okay. We got the Shrine here, Godless Shrine, Blood Crypt. These are all the shock lands because they do 2 damage like a shock would. They can come in tapped without hurting you too, which is great. They're beautiful. That's why they're like, you know, $15. And then you have your fetch lands, which are also exceptional. And we'll just making sure we get it in our colors, because Wizards will not differentiate you for Commander. And you'll be able to put in like a Misty Rainforest, and then you won't be able to fetch up anything in your colors, because you don't have those lands in your deck. That's white and black. This is black. This is red. This is black. This is white. That's red. So you get like most of the pay lands. Surveils can be fetched up with those, which is really nice. We can build our graveyard with those. So we got our Shadowy Backstreet and our Rausch's Theater. And the Verge lands are good too. They're beautiful. And you know, we could feel really kind of saucy. We got some basics left over that still can be filled in. Like, so maybe we'll get in the man lands too. So let's get our creature lands in. Why not? Haven't done one of these in a while. Obviously the flying white one isn't the best. We do have that Stitcher Supplier, so let's put in that Phyrexian Tower, that Hive, that Hagra Mauling, the Den, and we are so good, guys. And that would be a good first draft. Really nice stuff. Cavern, yeah, we'll pick one of those up. Just kind of getting like some freebies here. Plaza, that's okay. Maybe not for this one. And then we can just, you know, be confident that we did a fine job here. And let's see here. Some red starters, lots of black. Don't know if we have too much white developing till later in the curve, just a sentinel. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this deck building tutorial. It'd probably be a crime not to just take it for a test spin. And I do have all these cards available, so this will be our next paper deck tech, so hopefully you'll join me for that. I'll be showing the 400 subscriber giveaway for that one. The cards you'll see in that particular one are the Great Hunch and the Sensei's Divining Top. So kind of a big giveaway for the 400 subs, but I appreciate all of you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this content today. If you did, share it with your friends. Let them know that we're doing some nice little tutorials here and kind of showing people how to maybe get into a format such as Brawl. I kind of like kind of a little explanation of like my Magic journey. Like, I know people start off, Mythic rank is a big deal and stuff, but I have been around for a while. I think like for instance, if I you can see I kind of make a lot of decks. That's kind of obvious to see, but yeah, I love Magic, and been there. I've been to the Mythic land, and I kind of over time found out Brawl, and it just the way that you can extend that to in-person play is something that I think that every Magic player really kind of graduates into. And I know it's like kind of nerve-wracking to go to a store, for instance, if you haven't done that, or I really highly encourage it, and find a store that you really like, because you will find people that you really enjoy playing Magic with. And trading is actually probably one of my favorite things to do. Just like bringing my trade binders in and just sitting down and like having extras of cards that I don't really do, but they have cards that I need or require for a deck, and we're just very happy about it. It's just like very exciting. So yeah. We have the Ivora in our hand. Nothing to reanimate, but Ivora might help us, get to that point where we need. Might get lucky too and just like, draw a reanimate from a Stitcher supplier and go into a Valgaboth. It's just, that's the colors we're in. We're in some very powerful stuff. We can just have some serious RNG, and we're just skipping like 8 mana spells and just casting them for a single mana cost. So I do love the homie over there too as well. Let's probably take my Ivora though, right? Okay, very well. That's fine. That's pretty good. So what's the take for this? I guess the Devastator. I mean, that's a pretty good card, the Chittering Harvester. So this is just a turn 1 Ivora. You also want to pay attention to like what mana you're using, right, for this particular one. So for instance, this will only like it can only be tapped for red mana. Like a Lotus Cobra or something. Ooh, that's like some nice like card draw advantage, isn't it? Would they ever trade? It's kind of like hard to say, right? I don't think they're like ever trading though. They get some serious cards off of that guy, huh? I honestly like prefer that though than like a Lotus Cobra, because Lotus Cobras are crazy in these colors. They generate so much mana. It's like, whoa. The Curator, huh? All these things are basically dead, right? Corallian Rebirth. Let's put Nightmare for this, even though like obviously can't you know, this is still 4 mana here. You know, this one to mutate is 4 mana. So let's look for like an answer. Can't cast that either. Let's keep looking. Okay, kind of just stumbled out there a little bit. Okay, we don't really want to trade Ivora, do we? That's, you know, very fortunate for them. That's like kind of easy peasy action. So are they going to cast their Soul of Ungrace now? Wow, it's pretty crazy. This is a cool card though, isn't it? It's pretty good. Gonna get their bird. Send the terror. They don't like that one. Oh, okay, point. You know, I thought they would like kill the terror and then I could like coiling rebirth it. That would be pretty sweet. Well, I got into standard a little bit this week. It was a mind bender. I discussed that the cornucopias are they're just amazing. Like anything like over 4 colors with those like 3 cornucopias in your deck and you're just good. You're good, man. Like you can survive that meta, I think. I mean, I didn't get into too much like mono red stuff. I know it's still like around, but nothing to cast here for quite some time, so we're just gonna kind of try again. Can't cast this, unfortunately. Fell to Profane is a little late. Inti would be nice with a red source, but we don't have a red source, so. This is the best one so far. Overall, the Liger is the weakest card in this particular hand. But overall, a really strong hand with the ripples. Extremely strong. Yeah, it looks fine. Play the den next turn, go right into the ripples, start getting some massive value. That looks pretty nasty, whatever that thing does. It looks like it's just going to add colorless. Oh, it's to activate spells. I thought it would be to like cast things. That would be very powerful, right? I mean, Bloom Tender-esque. Oh, so that's it. This is an artifact. Okay, that's an amazing card. Wow, what a bomb. Could be in trouble here. Can they spin the wheel soon? I guess so, right? They're, I need to kill something here. I need removal. Deck? Deck? Did I get anything worthwhile in there? Yeah, I guess we want that Hellraiser. No untapped land, opponent. No untapped land. Well, I hope they really get to pop off. It'd be nice to see like a Golos deck still doing Golos things. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, spinning. What is it? Okay, a geode. Those aren't the best hits for them, right? But that is just more mana so they can go back into their thing, right? Oh yeah. I'm just putting it in the graveyard, right? Just builds my graveyard up. Getting to that requisite for our Hellraiser. Oh my god, what are they doing over there? Really, opponent? Alright, you got me. Emergent Ultimatum. How nasty are they? Are they just like the Omniscience, Liliana, Vorinclex? Yes, thank you for giving me a short. You can have all this stuff. Can I just give you all of them? You can have all the turns, homie. How about that? Oh, to be shuffled? Actually, take your Omniscience. I'll let you have. This has got to go away. I don't even know what it is, but these are fine. You can have those. Expropriate. What does that even do? Oh, they have this too. That's cool. Okay. What else? Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. Nice, Golos, you bastard. I did not hate our hand. Did not hate it. Yeah, I mean, a mana dork that just produces 2 mana without any requisites is kind of busted, guys. I'd say so. It's got to be like their top tier card. Oh, I like this. It's cool. We'll save the looting for Ivora, make a really buff Ivora. Oh, maybe not. Gonna like go back to my hand. Okay, ripples. That makes sense. How's this first time? Blue and red. It's pretty good. Pretty good card. We'll keep that. Ah, Arena of Glory, that's fantastic. I'll have to add one of those. Good job, opponent. Okay. Kind of doing similar-esque things. I'm in no manner of casting these at the moment. What do you do, Elisha? Ooh, nice. That's a good one. Great. Gonna get a nice board here. I thought these swords would be pretty good, but man, when they hit my hand like that, they're just, my Ivora is just like so sad, you know? So, yeah, maybe not the swords, but might maybe just need some more ramp. Signet would come to my mind. Getting get pretty smoked here. And they get to return something now. Oh, they get to take my toggle off. That's pretty good. Yeah, maybe even best to throw the sword away because I didn't have a creature to put on to it. Yeah, I don't really want to prolong this one for the opponent, so I'm just gonna let them like kind of kill me this turn. No reason for me to play this out. I think they have lethal here. They send everything? I think it's lethal. Alright. Nearly lethal. Yeah, it's like hard to say, like, kind of when you're playing, like, the sword would be so good if Ivora, like, doesn't get snatched up by an Inquisition, you know? And you know, we're building our graveyard up so much that you probably want to have like more animate effects. So I think we pretty much got most of them in, to be honest with you. It seemed like we had gotten most of the good ones in. Maybe I missed one or two. Ah, the Chthonian Nightmare, huh? Yeah, I don't know if we're doing so much sacrifice stuff. Graveyard Shift, Zombify. Ah, Persist. Yeah, Persist would be pretty good here. Be very good for us. Yeah, it's just like terrible reanimate, isn't it? So I guess that's just where it's at. Graveyard to battlefield. I'd rather play like the Gix Saga, to be honest. That's like just far superior, right? The cruelty of Gix, yeah, seems like better than the other things. Yeah, and I think we just stay the course. Just stay the course. I like all the choices here. They just seem kind of sweet to me. This is a human. It is a human soldier. Won't be able to mutate onto that. It's just cards for us. Just check the land count real quick. 34 plus our other cards we have. I love it. I love the mana base. I think it's fantastic. Oh, we even have the Predator. What a sweet deck. It's so sick. Also thinking like for our dragons too, like this is a good payoff for dragons. You also have like the Blade of Selves we can get into. So think about those type of cards. Our graveyard seems to be juicing up pretty well. Kind of pretty happy with the rate of the like what's going in. I suppose we can go down a sword. Like we don't want to have maybe two of these if we kind of get blown off, right? I would prefer the Sword of Forge and Frontier over the other sword, to be honest. Yeah, that seems good. Alright, this will be the deck that I posted in the Mox field. Thanks for joining me today, and you know, obviously we want to see a winning deck. You know, going 0-2 is like, doesn't really show confidence, but it is fun to build it. Like, you know, you have an idea and you pursue the idea, whether or not, you know, you get smoked or not, that's another thing. And you know, that's why we play these games, see what happens. Alright, we're at the mulligan. This Ivora is really sticking, you know, that's for certain. I think I'll just get the Survive Trial. Just points the middle finger to your opponent. Oh, I see what you're doing there, opponent. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You got a turn 2 play, homie? Dude, is that the crime one? You mofo. You dirty dog. Dude, can I just like bust open like a 6-6 Ivora here? Alright, opponent. You monster. You monster. Land? That's a land. I need like a little tiny creature, you know? That would count as a little tiny creature, wouldn't it? She's here, the dealer. The dealer of death. Oh, that's a wombo bombo, guys. This card is the sickest. I love this. I love watching these players just playing some just amazing things. We're gonna go pretty big, you know, if we can go big. So they can just pay 1 here, that's a crime, and just fill up the graveyard, fill up their hand. It's just like kind of like a beautiful thing, isn't it? They have counter magic. Don't think we're very close to that, are we? With a land and a victimize, which is probably unlikely considering they're in Grixis colors. They're just really good stuff here. Let me kill my stuff. They can do this twice because they have the kill for this, for targeting, and then they can target my graveyard here and do it again and just simply pay into this. So this seems like it's kind of counter magic, doesn't it, guys? But we'll still give it a shot. I guess we go for our rebirth first and see if we can get the 2 Borehole Dracosaurs. Pretty good. But it's just more fodder for them, right? They just love it. They're like, oh, thanks for giving me targets. Certainly, an opponent is going to find some juice here, right? Yeah, I mean, that seems so good. It just seems so good. The Mox into Magda, and then this thing, this Scrabbling Claws, it's just like perpetual crimes. Just free crimes. I love that choice. I have to remember that one. Yeah, and they just keep drawing cards. Isn't that crazy? They surely have a counterspell now. I'm just doing like these very, very cool things too, but they're just miles ahead of me with that Mox. Okay. Get one of them. That was good. I can make summon these dragons with haste, right? That's a pretty cool lethal. I do want to like kind of emphasize that, like, you know, she's very good. This is like a very specific card, and you have 99 slots. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, every 7 of your cards is going to be built for the crime. You know, that's a crime payoff. That's like a top tier card. You know, the Mox is a, you know, you only get one of those basically too. So, you know, they're going hot there. You know, could consider like a dark ritual for this deck too. I mean, you can keep like, you know, going through like the various kind of, you know, critiques and, you know, slight tweakings. That's when the deck building kind of like gets kind of particular, because you're getting rid of cards that you don't want to get rid of. So yeah, and that's like kind of like the competitive part of it, where you kind of get sucked in like this, right? Like I said, I was going to play a game, and now I'm like on game 3 because, you know, I'm a competitive person in that manner. The first sliver, see, this is just really strong stuff, you know? We'll imprint this because we're gonna be able to, you know, get enough loots with this. It's gonna be fine. And we'll fetch like a red source of some sort here. Start juicing up the graveyard. Pilgrim. I do love like the Shadwick Silver Quill. I think it's very cool. Okay, we're just gonna keep juicing up the graveyard. Maybe we'll get into like an Ox of Aganas, or that'd probably be like the best result. Opponent is on the move. Definitely on the move. Yeah, Dark Ritual looks like it would fit in our deck quite well, actually. I do love these dragons though, like playing so much dragons you can get an incubator also. I do love me some Valgavoth. I think it would be a crime not to put it in, you know, to make the cut, but I think we can do dragons, everything else. We're just feeding the Uro, right? It's fine. I think they could have went for their homie there. Couldn't they have? What is that, opponent? Some alchemy mumbo jumbo. God, like, Terror the Peak, Twin Flame Tyrant is incredible damage. Maybe they'll go for the sliver and pop a Saga and say GG. Oh, my eyes are going crazy. Wow. Bro. No, that ain't it. Yeah, I'm gonna be, the idea is for Dark Ritual and Kalia. That's gonna be the last kind of push for this one. And I'll just be like kind of reviewing, like, I mean, I think we're building the thing just fine without a Palantir. And I had that feeling too already. Okay, a little entombing. Still like Shatter. Actually, you know what? Now with just one sword, maybe Shadrach isn't as good anymore. Stifle? Opponent, you're gonna make me like scoop. Oh, that's so sick. I didn't expect them to be like a beatdown deck. Oh, they're like a combo deck. Man, we're playing against some really nasty stuff. Found ourselves in a nasty little brewer paradise over here. With really try hard queue. That's pretty cool. Surely they can take care of this thing too, right? Well, opponents have been doing their stuff. They've been... Oh, look at that art on there. It's awesome. Man, these guys are sick. Friday night crew showing us what's up. Of course, yes. Some degree of haste would be good too, like Lava Spur, Swift Boots. Yeah. Arena of Glory. I think that's what it's called. Alright, opponent. Look at these really gorgeous cards. I just can't get them off. I did put Reanimate in the deck. I did put Gamble. I did put all these tutoring effects. Zombify. Cool. Nice. What does that do? Extra turns. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that's also, you know, like, I know it's kind of frustrating to watch defeats and stuff, but honestly, like, I learn a lot. Like, my mind is just like, well, what could we do? Like, well, how could we counter that? You know, I think that's kind of like a really kind of a fun part of this game, is there's like always kind of that, you know, it can be kind of tedious, but it can be enriching too. Dark Ritual. Kalia, this obviously we won't be able to test her, but just get her in there. I also want to add some type of haste. We can do Dragon Tempest, but for just this list, you're going to want like a Lava Spur boots, probably, and a Swift Foot boots to protect your stuff. I don't think we need so much graveyard building. We seem to have the tools, so I don't think we need exactly all these. The sword, I think is cool. I think it is cool with the Shadrix too, to be honest. I still like the Fable just because it gets so much value too. It creates bodies, gets you ahead, gets you some rampage. What else? We're really close. This Virtue I think is pretty cool. Yeah, it's just like kind of keeps you in the game, and then you have like an option to get into the graveyard later. Just seems like pretty strong. I like Breach too. Just couldn't really get to these cards. Probably like, Arcane Signet at the very least would probably help a little bit. And a Black Market. Now we're getting a little better. Yep, just cards and treasures. And I just want to make sure like we have just like a nice amount of dragons here. The mutate creatures did serve a purpose. Like they were kind of just there, kind of ready to be mutated on. It seemed like we had enough mutates. And I think we'll be better with a Mind Leecher too. I think the deck will feel like a little bit stronger. In that manner, also probably like Incubator. I do like Ragavan. I don't know for like it'll be better in the next format. I just don't know if like he's getting through. He'll be good with a be mutated on though. That is true. Be able to grow in stats and be hitting in for a little bit better. I do like the idea of putting like a double striker on this thing, but you know what else is good about this? Is just mutating onto it. It will do lethal damage to a creature. That's another good pull about it. So it definitely fits. Yeah, I like all these kind of... These are good. These are a little hard to get to. I don't know if they fit our deck, actually. Like, I think they could probably go. So I'm getting close again. Definitely like all this action. Our dragons will improve a little bit when we get to the next format. They'll get a little stronger as well. So I'll definitely go over that kind of part as well, like when I talk about tomorrow morning. Kind of like have like a more informal one of like going through like all the red, black, and white dragons that I can find and kind of like evaluating them. You know, like even there's the white one that has like Vigi. That's like 5 mana cost. And that one's pretty cool too. AO. Ayo. So, I mean, overall, pretty stoked. It's pretty close again. I think it had 40 lands. Lands felt good. Didn't feel too bad. The Decadent Dragon felt like kind of a little slowish. But it is a dragon. And the dragons seem to be, you know, firing, you know. Seems like we're there. Region's probably just going to do well with our Snapdax alone, so just there's not many colors represented here. I can talk myself out of that one at least, and maybe this one too. Yeah, you could go a little bit bigger, I suppose, with this deck. Yeah, the Flying Trample, I do like that with our little Snapdax homie, though. It's pretty cool. It's like a death effect, too. Never quite out of it with this one, huh? Alright. One more card. One more card. It's probably like one of these, or both of them, you know? And just finding another Dragon. What's AO do? Yeah, he's pretty sick, huh? Alright, friends, so that is a deck building tutorial. That's a finish. If you watched any amount of this, I appreciate you joining me for this long-winded kind of adventure, and it was fun. You know, this was a really fun time for me. So I hope you got to learn some things about Magic today, learned more about Brawl. You can see it is very competitive. The decks are very good. The pilots are very good. And it is just an exceptional kind of experience if you're really into Magic. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.